stories.
That's right.
What the hell's the date? What's the date?
Today is
10th?
the 10th. Yes, sir.
Yes. I'd like to call the December 10th meeting of the Clearwater Marine Advisory Board to order. Thank you, everybody, for coming. The guy at the front door asked if there'd be a crowd. And we have had crowds in our day. But happy holidays, everyone. I am just frantically searching for reading glasses. And we have called it order. Did everybody have a chance to look over the meeting minutes from our September show?
Yes, sir.
I didn't find any mistakes.
Nothing.
I learned my lesson. A few meetings ago, I read through them too quickly, and there was I think they mixed up, I was vice chairman and who's our vice chairman now? He's not here.
It's right beside you.
Are you vice chairman? I thought we got the other guy.
Right. You have to stay healthy.
Okay, I'll stay healthy. I got rid of one cancer, the skin cancer I lectured you guys. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
I'll second.
We will pass that and accept them. And then we jump right to our guests. We have citizens to be heard for items not on the agenda.
Good morning. I'm
Good
Sherry Day, and this is Mike Foley. I'm the president of the Stevenson Creek Advocacy Group, and we're here today to ask for time on your next meeting to give a presentation and update. And that's really what we're here for today, unless you have a specific question.
Last we had heard from you, there was hanging whether you had completed the manatee count.
We've completed that study and
Okay.
provided it to Michael McDonald,
Okay,
and we're on the way to preparing that package to go to all the appropriate authorities.
good. 'Cause
So I've read through your emails, and I, if I recall correctly, the next step and the only remaining step on this issue was an approval by a Pinellas County Board or Pinellas County Commission?
For the docks,
Yes.
yes, it is.
And
It's still with the county,
right, but,
and when and if they approve it, it then goes to the Army Corps of Engineers, is my understanding.
okay, and you're asking to be on the agenda for the next meeting, what's this, December, January, March?
Which
So-
is too far away.
And so what was the timing? That was my question, yeah. Is that too far?
if you have anything to present today that may help.
This is unrelated. What we're wanting to put on
okay.
the agenda is our proposal, our request.
Step to the mic, please. Thank
Yeah. Mike Foley, 1809 Apache. We believe that the manatee situation there is bigger than we imagined. A year ago, I came to this board and I said, we're seeing manatees. I didn't realize how many. We want you to be aware of it. So we've had a report made on that, an official report. We've also had a Marine, what do you call it?
A boat captain.
U.S.
Coast
Coast
Guard.
Guard Master Captain review the area, and his comments are in that
Right.
package.
I read those.
that we've
Navigational
given.
safety report.
And so we want to bring these to you, but it's going to require a little bit of discussion. So
Okay.
that's what we're here to ask is, let's have that talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the manatee count is the thing that we're really hoping is.
Well, we want you to read the report.
Well, but I think also between now and March, as we get into the cooler months and that water's warmer, I think that manatee count is going to go up significantly in the next 90 days over what it's been in the past 90 days.
Probably.
Our survey is ongoing.
Right, but I think you're going to see quite a spike.
We'll find out.
The one dimension that I did not see, actually two dimensions, which I think will help. What is the vertical clearance, the air draft between the surface of the water and the bottom of the bridge at both high and low tide? And at the same time, what is the water depth through that main cut at both high and low tide?
We
Because I
have
think-
that, some of that data in that
I
captain's
didn't-
report.
I read through it a couple times. I didn't see the air draft or the water depth.
Well, there may be
Yeah.
more data
Those
to
in
be collected. The reason we're coming to you now is that there's some urgency in our view to discuss this and decide if this really should be a manatee protection zone. I think the longer we delay, the hazard takes more precedence
Well,
than we want to get.
to Mike's point, we got two issues at hand. It's the manatee protection zone,
Right.
and then we're still trying to stop the dock
Right.
building. And I've heard through the grapevine that it's been approved by the county. It's really just looking for some final processing. I'm in touch with the director that's handling that permit, Julie Sims, with the county. And I'm in the portal all the time checking to see what information is coming and going. We would love to have ultimately a letter from you folks describing any concern that you might see with these docks. We have one from the from the Environmental Advisory Board opposing the docks, and I think one from you folks would be very strong.
Was CMA helpful at all?
CMA, no,
Clearwater Marine
the aquarium has been non-responsive.
Afraid of that.
Well, they built a rehabilitation center there, so if any manatees do get injured, they don't have to take them very far.
But I'm thinking that also the water depth in there is a critical
It's an
dimension.
issue, big issue.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as far as manatees go, because when you get a mating herd up there, which I have seen repeatedly, of course, everybody freaks out when they see that. They just see a whole bunch of manatees up, and it's just, put on the out green music and go home.
Well, your next meeting, though, is in March.
Correct.
Yes,
So,
second Wednesday in March.
I'm
yes.
sensing a gap here that we got a lot of information to relate to you, and we can't really formally do that until your next meeting. So,
The
What
the
can we
two
do?
issues, the docks and the manatee zone, are related but unrelated. We think the manatee zone is important because people, the docks is just, they're not really related. We need, we think
Right.
we need a manatee zone.
Okay.
And just to reiterate what we talked about at a previous meeting was that the manatee is the way to go. There's not much that we can do to help as far as implementing any further wake zones than we already have.
Wake zones is not really the issue now. But there's no signage that even has the word manatee on it out there. We want a sign coming in under the bridge for the jet skiers and others.
Yes.
Even flat bottom boats, crank it up. To tell people, there's manatees in here, slow down. We don't need a massive amount of signage. I don't believe, just a few properly placed signs.
Okay.
Would that be us, manatee signs, or would that be Fish and Wildlife?
Well, there's two ways that you can go about getting the managed zone. One is through the FWC. They do periodic studies and they implement the zones. The second one is a local ordinance. So the state has given the county permission to have local ordinances for manatee zones. And in the case of the feasibility study that we presented here before, the best course of action to get a slow speed zone in those two portions of the creek would be through the local ordinance manatee zone. And there's just a lot of data that you got to collect. There's a lot of steps that you have to go through. Working with the Stevenson Creek Advocacy Group, what we've come up with is, the city will develop the ordinance, take it to council, and then we'll also install the signage. But you still have to design it, you still have to have it surveyed, and there's still a lot of data that needs to be collected. The manatee data is great, but there's still other data that needs to be collected.
and you need to tell us what that is, because I think we've got it all.
And yeah, I'll look through that
Yeah.
and see if there's anything else that,
So that's
they need to
basically
provide.
it.
Okay.
Well,
We need,
towards the impending dock permit, do you have enough information about the problem with it to create a letter either in support or in opposition of it?
Well,
I think we do.
I think we do. Personally, I've looked at the plans. They seem not only a little outrageous, I mean, it's just on the wrong side of the bridge.
Thank
But,
you.
but also that they seem to leave it open that, oh, we're gonna build these, but that, yeah, but then, you know, once they get the permission to build them, there doesn't seem to be a limit of how many they can put there.
And they are advertising 20 clearly, and all of their advertising materials, Serena is, so they've got
That's why I was
docks.
asking about water depth and air draft.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, if I'm sitting there gonna spend, you know, over $1 million on a condo, and, oh, look, I get a boat slip too for an extra $50,000, let me bring my 29-foot Sea Ray in there. You're gonna have to get a run start or put in a drawbridge.
Well, no
But-
matter what kind of boat they have, it's the same issue with turbidity, digging up the soft bottom and the
Right, but
shallow.
I'm thinking
and
the more ammo we have, it's like, okay, you wanna put docks in here, you only got at high tide 4 foot of air draft, you've got at low tide only 2 foot of bottom draft, and the docks are sitting on the mud. Can you really, in good conscience, I'm buying all this property and I'm gonna buy this condo and this dock? It's kind of a bait and switch, you know, here's this beautiful picture, and even in their sales literature, they show a couple of boats moored out there
that
And
are
they're
bigger
right
than-
up next
that
to
are
the
bigger
shore.
than could ever
with
get
a
under.
mast.
Yeah.
A mast, come on.
Well, you know, I believe the selling philosophy at that development is let the buyer beware. If they're foolish to expect a big boat, they'll learn soon.
I think it's advertising, but, the water depth's 5 foot at the bridge, on a good day.
At high
There's no
tide.
room for a manatee in a boat with 18-inch draft.
And that's what, I think, those are the facts, the dimensions, that if we had, we can throw all this together. It would help us then put together something that says, while it may not be illegal, it's really dumb.
And also, in the captain's report, there were 5 to 10 manatee in the area of the docks as he was surveying.
There's always manatees up there.
And, yeah,
Always
and we
dolphins.
have photographs now, videos on our website, stevensonCreek.org, that show manatees clearly in the exact location of the docks, doing their thing, in 3 feet of water.
So
Michael,
I
anyway.
think all the information does exist in your emails and elsewhere. So
Yeah.
what I'm confused is what does it take for us to write a letter to someone
I'll
and say,
draft
we're
you one.
opposed to this? Well, the question is, do we have to come
Is that-
together? Do we have to review it in public? Do we just write it and
Thank
send
you.
it,
That's
or
a
what?
good
Permissible that if she were
How
to
does that
draft
happen?
one, we could approve it at the next meeting? Okay, we would accept that.
Great.
And just to add in there, my own concern, having had a dock, on St. Joseph's, when they put my new dock in, and unfortunately I was away, there was a large rock underneath me that they should have removed. It cut my beam would sit down on it and not let me get on and off at low tide. I excavated that rock myself, but what I saw a lot of my neighbors doing, and it's a known thing called midnight dredging,
Rock dredging.
where if you can't easily get on your boat at lower tides, on your lifts, and I'm assuming the size of these boats that they could put in there, they'd have to put them on lifts. You
There's a
can't
lot
just
of
keep
pop
them
dredging.
floating.
They are docks and lifts.
So
Every
they're gonna-
9 of them has a dock and a lift.
And most of the docks that people have built out there, single docks, they're not utilized. They've sold the boat off because they can't use it.
Yeah.
You can
You'll
barely
find,
ever get in and out.
Most of them are that way.
Very restricted.
When
About a 3-hour window that they can get in and out.
So you're saying there's already precedent for how boats can and can't use that area?
Yes.
Yes.
We've got
People-
neighbors who hey, let's go out in the boat. We've got this much time.
Yeah.
It's got to be now or can't get back
You gotta
in.
look at the tide chart, you gotta go out on an uprising near high tide, you gotta come back soon, or you get stuck out there.
You know,
You got a 3-hour window or a 12-hour window.
Something like
if you can provide some facts in the letter that you're going to write that relate to that, I think it also goes to what he's asking as far as the draft goes and how it can be utilized.
You could attach that to the letter. You'll see.
Our website discusses.
Do you mean a neighbor's testimony about limited access in and out? What are you?
Whatever works.
Okay.
But it has to be able to be
We'll come up.
proved, justified. We're not gonna support anything that's just hearsay.
Well, the other thing that's interesting as I follow this draft, and I don't want to take but a second on this, every entity that's looked at it, the Aquatic Preserve Program, the city, the Southwest Florida Water Management District, FWC, everybody looks at those 9 docks. They disregard the fact that this is a new precedent. It's completely new, and it will change the entire atmosphere of that creek. There's only been single-family docks forever. And putting a mass of them at this mouth, they say, I can't look at anything that might be, but that's the reality of it. And it's a shame that they're limited to that small, this is the permit at hand. As soon as that gets approved, that'll be a precedent, and there'll be, that whole inside of that estuary could be docks.
Well, it would make a great hurricane hole, except for the
Yeah,
fact that you'd have to
you
put a
can't get in.
drawbridge in there and there's no water.
Right.
But again, and I talked to Dr. Randy Reynolds a little bit about it, and unfortunately, legally it can happen, but ethically it shouldn't. So again, manatees, dolphins, I've seen them feeding up there all the time.
And he's one also who said, I've got to stay in my lane, I'm only looking at this dock, and disregard the actuality of it.
I know him, and the sidebars that we've had, he said, you know, it's stupid, and I can't imagine. He said, I can't see anybody buying a dock
Well,
in
he
there
could have
thinking they're gonna
still
use it.
said something.
It's a built-in lawsuit, but that's not what we're discussing. And again, I think the water depth at high and low tide and the air draft at high and low tide will answer a lot. And plus, people fish off that bridge. It's
Pinellas County has depth readings. They even put a boat out there about a
November.
month ago or so to check unofficially those readings to see if they were accurate. And they came back with 2 foot 1 inch.
yeah.
The highest one was 5 foot at the bridge.
Right. At high
There was
tide.
a little bit of a rush of water going through.
And that was at high tide, right?
No, that was at near, about above half.
Okay.
And so, but when you go up higher, you've got to go.
Well, I was just gonna say, more important-
Top, you know what I mean? So it's a problem. We're happy to see things like kayak and paddleboards.
Mhm.
Those people come in there all the time.
I've
We get
paddled
a
under
lot
that
of
where I've had
kayaks.
to, on a high tide, there's not much clearance there.
But a kayak can go anywhere and you're fine.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Paddleboards, they come in there.
Environmentally,
Even
they're-
jet skis get in, but we like them to slow down. They usually use it as a raceway, which we have a problem.
And we've got a vision, one day we might get with Parks and Rec and have a kayak launch at the old shuffleboard court area that's underutilized, and maybe a manatee viewing area.
That's been mentioned
Wouldn't
before.
that be a great
Yeah, that's been a
tie-in
pitch
with
around the block.
CMA?
The reason years ago, it came up back in 91 or something. Marshall Street needed to be upgraded a little more. The people from Cole.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, well, there's, the city knows all about that.
You know the nickname of Stevenson's Creek.
I,
Okay,
I live there.
okay, you know the nickname. Okay.
I've been through it. I used to report the problems. They're doing a much better job now. I don't have a when Tom Miller was the head of the environmental department here, he came to me with that idea of a kayak launch, and I said, I wouldn't do it. I think there's a liability, there's bacterial issues that the city's gonna have to deal with in some of them. So, but Marshall Street's much better now. They're doing it.
That plant's scheduled to come offline and become a
We
pump
hear
station.
that, yeah, and there's this ongoing discussion. I've heard that the city's talked about it just this past week, and it'll happen. And when it does, that estuary, we need to preserve that estuary as it is and improve it, because it's an estuary. We can turn the Marshall Street plant tanks into some form of fish hatchery. We can have, if you have a fish hatchery, you gotta have an estuary, you got an estuary. Let's get it going, get a little fishing going out here. I don't know how successful it'll be, could be difficult, could be wildly successful. But Stevenson Creek's gone through 30 years of Clean Water Act improvements. The water's getting
It's a
much
huge
better
watershed.
than it used to be
Yeah.
horrendous, but we've got to risk, I call it this, Stevenson Creek is a model of urban stream restoration. The city needs to be proud of that. The city's responsible for all of the clean water BMPs, all along, 3-chambered runoff systems, Glen Oaks, the Highland ponds, they're all on our website. We've gone through and talked about it. I mean, it's getting better. It's not getting, we want to keep on. It's not perfect, but it's getting better.
We figure there's been $100 million spent to help the health of the creek, and this is just the beginning of something that can reverse all that.
Yeah, a lot of the sediment's gone.
The building, Marshall Street, and all of the maintenance that goes into it, that's how we came up with that.
Sure.
So we'll put something together for you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Would it be possible for us to get that email to us so that once it was approved, so that we could provide that letter to them before the next meeting? Can we do that? Or does it all have to be done at the meeting?
Time is of the essence.
Everything needs to be done in the sunshine.
Oh,
so,
right, but I'm saying
yeah.
if it were emailed to everybody.
Yeah,
and-
if you want to draft a letter and email it to me and Jennifer, and then Jennifer and I can email it to everybody else.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and
Contact
proceed,
Mike, and then he'll get it to us.
proceed quickly
Thank you.
with that. And
Much appreciated.
one other thing you might try, contact I guess the federal DOT, isn't alternate 19 a federal highway at that point?
I'm not sure.
Or it's federal or state. Anyway, contact them and see if they might offer any input that, oh, wait a minute, we've got to have so many cubic feet available to pass through to not undermine the pilings of the bridge and so forth. You know, remember when the
Well, for
San Key
safety
Bridge
of the
fell down?
bridge,
Say again?
Are you speaking to the safety of the bridge?
Yes. They don't care about manatees or docks or anything else, but if any upstream work is done that could potentially affect the bridge or its structure, then they might say, well, wait, worth an ask.
The way it is now, most mariners know that that's too shallow.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't go there.
Yes, a few, 2 or 3 boats ago, yes, I had a boat that I could get under there at low tide and run, just a 20-foot boat. But then I never even thought about it after I took the natural, what do they say, 7 years, 7 feet? But again, what you're saying about the damage to the bridge, reiterate what I was saying about that midnight dredging, and just to
Sure.
qualify the term, where you're tying your boat to your dock or to your lift
Prop dredging.
in place and putting it in gear and blowing all of that water out from underneath where your lift sits and just spreading the silt and everything.
Maybe that's their informal dredging plan.
And
Yeah,
of course,
and-
there's the law of nature that in any moving water body tends to regain its former morphology. So you
Yeah.
can dredge it out every week.
Oh, yeah.
and
It'll fill right back in.
I used to run the Pirates Cove
Oh, did you?
boat sales office, and yes, you planned your boat deliveries very carefully
Uh-huh.
until every 5 years they'd come around and dredge it, and things would be normal for a year or two. And now I think they took out the smaller golf course, the old St. Andrews or whatever they had to change the name to, and so there's only Dunedin Country Club that is on it that's causing it, and they've done a lot in rebuilding the now reopened Dunedin Country Club to control their runoff. They've had a lot of steps, I saw the plans, to get rid of that, but that's Dunedin, that's their problem, but
Just like when they took the golf course out off Gulf the Bay, Glen Oaks, was it, or?
Glen Oaks.
They took a whole golf course out to,
Chi-Chi's Rodriguez golf course. When the kids used it.
Yeah, it was Glen
they
Oaks.
got the one over
Chi-Chi was involved in that?
Chi-Chi,
Oh.
yes, but he moved this operation from McMullen to the Third
Yes.
at Countryside, so. his
Glen Oaks
course
and the
was very-
Chi-Chi were the same.
yeah.
They're at
It
court.
was perfect timing for us and Glen Oaks. I was on the environmental board at that time.
Yeah, to get that runoff
Yeah,
under
that
control
Glen
and,
Oaks is a masterpiece. People don't realize it's a state-of-the-art, urban water treatment and pollution system.
yes.
Well designed. I know the designer, and it really just did it. That was the most polluted area, incidentally, the runoff from in there.
Well, it's a
in the
huge
state of
watershed.
Florida.
Huge watershed.
Yeah.
And that
yeah.
ultimately gets into Stevenson's
It's-
Creek. you
Yeah,
know?
and Glen Oaks is like right at the heart of it. And there's another one off
Yep.
of Highland that drains into, yeah, I know, we gotta get rolling.
Yes.
We're eating
Okay.
up your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Get
you
us,
so much.
get Mike a copy of that letter and he'll pass it on to us and,
Much appreciated.
and we'll see you in 3 months.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We had other people to speak, or is it all here for the business? You're for the marina, right? Okay, so we're gonna move on from that as soon as I find my glasses. Business items, Beach Marina Commercial Tenant Outreach Group update.
Although we are supporting manatees also, so.
Yes.
But I made some notes for everybody to make it easier. So you don't have to memorize. What? Yes. Yes, I think I have enough for everyone. Morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanksgiving, some friends from Italy in, we're out on the Sea Screamer.
Yes.
On Thanksgiving Day, which was not a pretty day. But they got in and out easily, they had a wonderful time, they just had nothing
Thank
but
you.
positive reviews, and maybe they're from a cold part of Italy, because it was not a day I would have been out there, but if I was out there, I'd want to be on something like the Sea Screamer. But that was good to hear, though, feedback.
So, good morning. My name is Susan Smith. My husband and I, Jamie, and my brother-in-law, TJ, own Stella Fishing, which is one of the charter, the six-pack boats.
Which one is yours?
Stella Fishing,
The legend and the lore.
the legend and the lore.
Okay, okay.
The blue and the yellow boats. Maybe I need to rebrand, is that what
Well,
you're
I have to
saying?
close my eyes and listen, the voices on the radio, try and figure out, okay, that's,
Absolutely. So we kind of, the first thing is the Marina Tenant Council Organization update. We asked Trish to provide an update as to how things are going there. And as you all, I'm sure, are aware, they've organized the group under Amplify and are really happy with the support that they're getting from them as they're putting together the group and starting to organize the metrics and the membership and the way that they're going to be approaching everything for that organization. The members will have benefits under Amplify membership also, which I think is, they're very pleased with. They are going to be distributing their membership guide over the next few weeks, through this holiday season, I think, sometime shortly. They continue to state that the construction down there has been hard on all the tenants, and so obviously they're trying to do as much as they can to get people to join, but also not put the financial burden on the businesses right out of the gate.
Am I correct that Amplify Clearwater is basically not the Rotary, but the Chamber of Commerce? Isn't that just?
It is.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm not super close to this, so I'm kind of reporting, but we can use everybody's brains as we go. And so they are going to be foregoing the membership fee until we get more into the busier season of the of the tourism aspect, so they're looking to do that in June. And they will be providing you all a copy of the membership guide as soon as it is complete.
Okay.
That's the least amount of information that I know about what I'm about to talk about. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take them back to them all, you know, if you have any thoughts on that. Otherwise, we can kind of jump into more of why we are here, TJ and I. There are a couple things that are going on down there as you all are looking to obviously make the marina whole and, you know, working within at least breaking even. We have that same appreciation for our small business. We wanted to show you and just give you some data so you can start to make some, you know, really an opinion about how you're approaching the rate hikes down there, particularly for not just the commercial business, but maybe even more in regards to the commercial fishing fleet themselves, as we're looking for you to consider some type of a carve-out for the small six-pack and even the larger boats that are down there that are fishing. We wanted to show you kind of the way that the rate hikes are impacting the larger boats, which just from also just thinking of revenue, you know, the bigger businesses and the tour businesses really do have a much larger top line, and, you know, many of them million plus. And when you're looking at rate hikes that, you know, are really impacting them in that like kind of 35 to 60% or so, and then you move to the charter fleet and you look at rate hikes that impact us anywhere between, and this is true for all of the boats that are down there, the small six-pack boats particularly, anywhere between 120 to 170% is what that rent hike does to us. And our top line is anywhere, and it's true across all of the boats down there, $250,000 to $300,000 a year is our top line. And so these rent hikes that maybe don't feel as significant to people, and I know you're trying to get things in line, and you're like, oh, our study says that commercially we should be charging you more, and that may hold true for some of these really larger businesses or much more substantial businesses that don't live under, you know, we can't put more passengers on our boats. Sure. By federal law. We run much further. We can't add 5 more tours a day. You know, we just don't have those types of options.
And we're way more weather dependent. Sea and all those guys, they're going out.
Yeah, as I just said.
We don't do that. We can't do that.
It's so hard because so many marinas, okay, that slip, we're renting the slip. I want to put a kayak in it. Okay, but it could take a 60-foot boat. So there's that catch-22 there. You only got a 10-foot kayak, it's only $1 a foot, it's only $10. You got a 60-foot boat, you can go in there too, you're gonna be $60. So where do you charge for the slip and where do you charge by the foot?
Yep.
I completely get what you
Yeah, I
guys.
think that's why we're talking about, I don't disagree with, I mean, we had a recreational boat for a long time in the city marina, almost 10 years. And if you would have told me my rent was going up by $800, you know what I would have said for my Sierra? I would have said, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm a recreational boater. I have a 50-foot boat. I expect fees. I do it for joy. Sure. You have those types of dollars in that. I think really, truly looking at this and thinking about if you want to support a fishing fleet, a true fishing fleet.
And this has been one of the agendas that I lobbied to get on this board because I've got quite a connection to the waterfront. And the only working waterfront we have left is Clearwater Beach, the Seminole area.
Yep.
And that's it. There was a time when there was so much, but that's all ancient history.
That's like Clearwater. That's
So-
the oldest working fishing fleet in the state.
Yeah.
Is that marina right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I interviewed Dave Spalding and Bob Ress, all those guys, Courtney Ross.
It's
Mike,
special.
I don't envy you in having to come up with just that. It could hold a 60-foot boat at $60 a month, I don't care what you put in there,
Yeah. I
to
think,
by the foot. Or if there is some way we could have a carve out, or if by a longer contract, say, well, okay, let's do I'm making this up, a 5-year deal. And instead of selling you the 60-foot slip, we're gonna discount that to X because I know it'll be it's you for 5 years. I mean, I get completely what you're saying. There's no way you're gonna compete with the big head boats.
yeah, and the tour boats themselves, I mean, you just have so much more opportunity in different ways to drive revenue and work harder. And with us, we just don't
Yeah,
have
you
those
can only go, yeah.
opportunities.
And even if you put a second boat in the fleet, now you got a second slip rent.
Yeah,
We
do.
did do that,
So,
and a lot of us do. Saltcracker has 2, has 3 above, or Real Deal has 2,
Yeah.
Gulfstream has 2. You know, we have 2. So when you really, and we bought this business in 2022, and since then, we've also started to see the fleet shrink, you know,
Mhm.
by 3 or 4 businesses already.
sure.
And the hurricane obviously is hard for everyone, but I mean, we're taking federal loans out to support 2 months or 3 months of, you know, changes in revenue, where the bigger boats don't have those burdens as much. They don't use as much fuel. There's just so many more advantages, and I'm like, why did we not buy the tiki boats? But just joking, I mean, there's so much less, you know, risk when it comes to it, but the charter fishing fleet, I personally feel it's a really special, it's not represented in the feasibility study the way from a commercial standpoint. You'd really have to look hard around the United States to find these little tiny pockets where, like, how are these little tiny businesses 10 at a time being supported in these larger, like, massive marinas, right? And it's a different, also our people just, you know, 30 to 40% of the people that come to fish on our boats come to town with the sole purpose of fishing, which is also, I think we could say we really do drive tourism across the area more than when you come to town on vacation and you're like, hey, let's go on the Sea Screamer or something fun, because you can kind of think about it. But
Yeah,
a lot of our people plan to come.
Yeah, they're walking down the dock, oh, let's ride on Little Toot this
Yeah.
afternoon. Oh,
Which
let's
is
go over
one-
to the aquarium.
Especially
But
like-
if they want to fish, they've already been in contact with you
Oh.
and got it booked before they ever got on the airplane to come down
We
here.
refund fully number of trips a year because their flights are canceled, and it's the
Yeah.
only reason they're coming in is to come fishing for
Yeah.
2 days.
If-
That's something like us, like June, we're almost fully booked with the same people. They come for a week.
Yeah.
They fish 7 days.
Yep.
And on average, that is bringing almost $40,000 of just that 1 week.
We-
Of people that came here not to go see a dolphin, they came here to fish.
Yeah.
They're eating in the local restaurants down in the marina, they're renting out hotel rooms. It's really
And this-
bringing people here.
I have a friend in Ireland that him and his wife come over here every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a special thing. I mean,
The working
Just for
waterfront
that.
is, it's vital that we preserve the working waterfront. And like I said, you
They
know,
don't
I
have
I
fish
get
in
it,
it.
you know, I got a waiting list of how many people, somebody's gonna pay me for that 60-foot slip. Want to put a kayak in it? It's still a 60-foot slip. And, you know, is there currently a waiting list to get back into the marina?
So you're talking about 2 separate things. You have the recreational rate,
Okay.
and then you have the commercial rate. There is not a waiting list for the commercial.
Okay,
The commercial operators,
it's full, right?
well, yeah,
Okay.
we're full, and they're allowed to sell their business and then transfer that slip.
slip, okay.
If the city agrees to those terms,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
yep.
So how did this end up so disproportional that the Starlight and those saw an increase, but a minimal increase compared to
it's based on
simply the
per
slips.
So basically, the rate study, that's where the rates were set. Looking at, what the six-pack fishing fleet is going through is something that we've already started looking at. I've talked to city leadership about, and we're looking for ideas, and we're looking at working with them
Okay.
on something. But it's also based on the pro forma, which I'll go over with in my director's report.
Okay.
And we're really just looking for your consideration to advise them that it's a special group, even though it's considered, grouped into that big commercial
It's
environment.
commercial, but it's a different animal.
But it's such a different animal.
It's like the difference between an airliner and a little private plane.
Yeah.
That's even like Seaskirr just had to rebuild 2 engines, $140,000 to rebuild 2 engines. That put us, we're done, we're crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
Like,
That would-
it's just, that's how different our business is.
Yeah,
Where
and-
it's just like, all right, let's go to work, switch them out, and they're back running a month later. We gotta,
Yeah.
I'm turning wrenches, trying to, save every dollar, so it's.
And you've
completely
lost,
different.
how many trips in the meantime?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I know, and again, Screamer was over at Right Choice, again, supporting, when we get to the old Seminole Street, you look at how many businesses are supported entirely by the working waterfront, whether it's a rent, and we don't have much. You've got that little bit on Island Estates, you've got the city marina on the beach, there's no commercial downtown, and you've got then the area around Seminole, and that's it.
Yep.
And then the next commercial is Tarpon Springs going south, you gotta go way down towards Mad Beach. And, and we need to save this. We really need to.
It is really a special thing. And we don't we know rent increases. Like, we are super reasonable and appreciative of everything that Mike's done and that everybody does to help support us. But this is a big burden on us today that we're all very worried about. And then the second piece of this, and maybe it is just truly a carve out for the fishing fleet. When you look at fuel prices, and Jamie and I and TJ we just opened our P&Ls up to you all so you could really just see the percentage that we pay to the city of the business. And just to be there when, between fuel and our marina spend in general, when you're upwards of that, 45, 30 to 45% of our top line revenue just to be in the city marina, it's just really hard. That's not
Just for the
that's not
privilege of
paying our
doing
captains,
business.
that's not paying, we don't take personally any money out of this business. Everything goes into the business, to the team that works it, and if we save $10,000, that $10,000 goes into the business and the people. That's the way this business runs, and most of them are owner operated.
Yeah.
And that's the way all these little businesses run. From a fuel expense standpoint, we use the most fuel down there. We run the furthest. We have to fuel every day. If we're running an 8-hour, we're 20, 30, 40 miles offshore, we are kind of trapped a little bit with whatever the marina prices the fuel at is where it is, because we haven't had the opportunity to bring in trucks. Even the big boats that all have left to fuel somewhere else, and they have those advantages because they have those huge fuel holds. They don't use a lot of fuel, like Starlight doesn't use a lot of fuel, and it's putting around the, it brings a lot of joy to people, but from a fuel expense, it is significant. And just looking at this last year with bringing the trucks in, we've saved over $30,000 in fuel. Like, that's the difference in our fuel bill year over year. And we would love to pay, honestly, I'd love to be able to put that back into the business and give people raises and do amazing things for them as we're working on.
Well, that may be an angle to take, obviously, with Mike, as far as what the city will and won't allow, or any discounts. I know from my time running a boat at the aquarium that they had commercial fuel discounts, but I don't know anything about how much, what, that's not what. But you know, as a board member of the Marine Advisory Board, my thought is we have to do anything we can to save our local fleet, and, you know, anything that we can do to help collaborate here with everybody involved, and I know Mike is too.
And I know Mike's trying to think about ways
Help us.
to help us with fuel, like, is there a carve-out where, I don't know, you had some ideas, like ways that maybe he could capture his real cost of fuel with some level of markup that's more competitive with what we could get off of a truck. We can't bring trucks in, obviously, when everything's all
Sure.
beautiful, but, you know, for a difference in 25 or 28%, like, if I could save that money and fuel somewhere else and give the boats back 20% to, or $20,000 to the crew for them to work an
There's
extra
so many
hour to
moving
do
parts. You know,
that.
Mike's got to pay the guy on the dock. They've got to maintain the equipment.
100%.
Pay for the state
Oh, yeah,
inspection.
definitely.
You know,
We
all
have-
that's a cost, but somewhere maybe, and it'd be nice.
Yeah, we have a
So-
great appreciation for it. We just, our margins are razor thin, you know, and if we have a bad weather month, like
Yep.
where all of a sudden we're 2 weeks of trips down and it just, it really hurts us badly. I mean, we just don't have the top line revenue.
A little month left over at the end of the money.
Yeah, it really is. So,
We hear you, and I'll shut up because I think you can see I've got a
No,
particular
I-
interest in this, and it just, I grew up on the water, and as did many of the Clearwater residents, but I've interviewed a lot of these old timers, and I actually interviewed Dave Spalding and Kai Lewis and Wally Erickson and Skip Ress and Courtney Ross. I volunteer at the museum down here, that old mullet skiff you see. We put that together. Irrelevant, sorry. I talk a lot.
Today,
We
No,
hear
we
you.
appreciate you.
We hear you.
okay.
we just,
I'll stop.
We-
Sorry.
we appreciate it. We feel like one of the biggest challenges is just being lumped in to, and we understand why and how easy that would be, but it would be great to have the consideration of being like, hey, this fleet is we're different than the Sea Screamers, we're different than the tiki boats, like, it's just a different type of commercial
Yep.
business, and there's not a lot that we can do outside of what we do every day to drive more. You know,
We try, like, I've been to funeral homes doing burial at seas, like, all sorts of stuff. Been to banks trying to do like bank closings, like, we try. But really, at the end of the day, who wants to go do a burial at sea with their loved one on the back, which, at the end of the day, it's a charter fishing boat, you know?
Done it.
So even those little things.
Yes.
We're like,
Yep.
what else, can we do? And, I mean, some of the guys try to go crab for 2 weeks in between if things are down, like, it's just, what else? It's such a hard-working, truly love of the water and
Yep.
fishing kind of environment. It's not like going out and driving a tour boat and you find a captain that'll do that for whatever time. Like, it truly is that fundamental calling. Like, it's hard work.
Not everybody wants to get up at 4 o'clock and catch bait.
It's a lot of work. Some days I'm like, what are you're, I'm so thankful.
Yep.
So we
That's
also
an
just kind of
excellent
we wanted to make the note about how many people come in just for fishing, because we do believe that helps the entire area, not just our dock itself, and the little Clearwater Beach area. And the other aspect I put together, just to give you all some visibility, we provided the number of trips that we've ran 23, 24, and 25 by month, and I kind of in pink put like where the hurricane hit. We, as you can tell, are not as impacted, which really speaks to people prepping and coming in versus buying something off the dock, by the walk-up business, the way that
Yeah.
tour boats are down 50%. Like, it's really a burden on them because they don't have that traffic through. We don't see that as much. I think that one of the reasons why we're holding as well as we have is also because we've lost a few of the boats over the last 3 years, 3 or 4 of the businesses, and the people that were fishing on them, you know,
Coming to you.
we've gained some of their business. So I don't know that we're, you know, genius marketers or whatever, you know, holding and growing, but I do think that because the fleet's a little smaller, we look like we're holding better than maybe what we truly are, but we will see over time. We did change our prices based on the council's recommendation when, at the last meeting, they're like, well, just raise your prices $50 or whatever, and we did that in October when our rates were supposed to change, and we had a significant, and I didn't put everybody else's numbers in there, but a very, very big drop in trips doing that. And I think we just have some months that we're like airlines, like, you know, some months they lower rates to get people to travel. You know, October is a lesser, you know, it's a softer month for people. People aren't holidaying where they're a little bit more tolerant of price changes. Like at Christmas, if they're coming in to fish and do that, they're planning for that. But this is more local business and more people that would fish in the down times. And so we did see that. I know it's only 1 month, but we're really watching that. We just don't know that we have the price elasticity to be able to be like, hey, our rent's changed by $1,000 a month, so we've got to find $12,000 more just to get back to even. Can we do that $50 at a time? And I'm afraid that it might impact us in a much more negative way than we were hoping. So.
Back when Mike did a presentation of things we were up to here in front of the council, was it last March or a year ago, March?
A year ago.
Before Mike did his presentation, a gentleman from the Association of Community Theaters or something to that effect gave a presentation. A big, you could tell he was a showman. Poor Mike had to follow him. But
Did you do it? Did you?
But a little. I meant this Mike that he gave the report. So he's used to the abuse. So, but if you go back and look at that meeting and look at that it was a city council meeting, not here. These people, these numbers you're seeing, and these people that are coming in, some of those are just half of the family. The guys are going fishing, the women are shopping, they're going to the beach. The financial impact of those people, how many of them, the percentage of them that come from out of town, the things they bring with them, and then they do go to our theaters, and then they do go shopping, and they go to pay to an event to go here at the Sound, and it's, so looking at your numbers, you're thinking, oh, so we lost a few fishing people. No, you lost tens of thousands of revenue that those people would have spent while they were here, not just on your boats, but on everything, so
Yeah, that's like this guy works 7 days in June, every June, and he brings a bunch of people. He averages that 1 week spending $50,000 every year in 7 days.
Nice problem to have.
Out in the, yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, that's $50,000 in 1 week.
That's a testimonial.
Into this small little community of Clearwater, you know,
Sure.
to the beach.
Yes.
That's a testimonial, though, to the draw that the fishing community has, and your group in particular, that this guy comes back on a regular basis. And you see that a lot with the same, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
We get the theater presentation, then Mike's presentation, then a week later there was election, and 3 of the 5 people that sat through all that were no longer on the council, and it's like, let's start all over. They forgot everything we just told them.
Yeah, well, just from a bottom line, we really want to see the fishing village survive and prosper. You know, you shouldn't every year just be making the effort to break even, right?
Yes.
And we would love to find a way to have that little carve out to help us do that. It's not like we're making an extra $200,000 by making these little tiny changes. It's literally, you know, if we lose an engine or something like that, it's so much more devastating. Like, we just don't have that type of cash flow to be able to support it, and we would like to. Maybe in 30 years we'll.
So this is kind of the result of our approval of, or our suggestion to the council that they adjust the rates the way that they are now?
Yeah, and it's not anybody's fault. When you get those studies, it's a 10,000-foot view. But when we're down here in the weeds, you recognize that, yeah, there is an issue with the six-pack fishing fleet, that, you know, their margins can't support something that drastic. So we have to look at all avenues to help offset some of that cost, but we need to gain it somewhere else to be viable as
balance
an
it out.
enterprise fund, correct?
Is there something that we can suggest to the city council that maybe they can take action on this?
Yeah, we're working right now. I'm working with them as well as the tenant outreach group to come up with some solutions. But I mean, especially if that's your advice to us, we're definitely gonna figure something
How many
out.
slips will there be for transient voters when we're done?
23, I do believe. I don't have that number in front of me.
That's, they kinda gotta pay what you want, and then I know you've done studies with other marinas and so forth, and, nice places, not, Billy Bob's tie-up overnight.
Correct.
But something like Sarasota, Naples, offset some of that revenue there, and perhaps with some of the recreational tenants that are there as well, because, I mean, let's face it, that's play money. You sit and watch somebody put $5,000 worth of gasoline in a quad engine outboard, what's a couple of $100 a month for slip rent?
Yeah, and we're also working with, the fuel pricing, looking at just a monthly invoice. I think we're gonna have the capability with the new marina and the new fueling system to do that, which, right now, I get a fuel drop, and during the peak season, I'll get one every other day, 7,500 gallons of fuel. And to cost that with, especially during some times of the volatility of the cost of the fuel coming in.
Yeah.
Trying to price that where I want to price that for the commercial fleet. There's been times for 3 or 4 days where I'm actually selling it for less than I bought it for. So I always have to set it kind of high so I don't run into those issues. But when I'm doing it at a monthly rate, I can average my cost over that and then give them a percentage off of that. It'd be easier for us, it'd be cheaper for the commercial fleet
Do
too.
you know what the price you're charging right now?
We're not selling fuel currently right now.
Oh, we're not even, we didn't,
No, but the last price index I saw yesterday, I think it was $3.12 for gas and $2.99 for diesel.
on Marine?
Just
Oh.
out of Tampa.
Oh, national average right now is 294.
Yeah, but this was the price out of Tampa where the fuel's purchased,
Okay.
so,
Rec 90 on the water right now is going for 5.25,
yeah,
5.15, 5.35.
yeah.
Oh, I miss those days.
Yeah,
So you're gonna work with the city council as far as, is that a motion we should put through? Or you don't need that
If you're just
directive?
advising me to continue to work with the six-pack, then I'll
Yes.
continue to do that.
We don't wanna lose you.
Yeah.
No, and take a look at, you mentioned a monthly billing. If 2-week billing cycle would work better, or 6-week to be able to balance. I'm sure the fleet would work with you there to, because it's gonna be in everybody's best interest. You
Yeah.
won't have to explain
They-
why you sold diesel fuel for
They
less.
get billed monthly for the slip rent, so it'd just be
Right.
easy
Okay.
to put the
Sure.
fuel into that and do one invoice.
Yeah, I'm not trying to suggest
Yeah.
business stuff, but, look at everything.
Absolutely.
I just think
Thanks.
specifically, like, recognizing, like, having it said out loud that the six-pack group should be a carve-out. And,
It's two different things.
It
You guys
would-
and us.
yeah,
Yes.
it would help so much, because I think that's where we just haven't, they're like, oh, well, this is what it said, and commercials typically 1 point whatever more than this, and so everybody. And it would just be so great to have it recognized that, like, hey, this little group of people is just, their business model is just so different. And I just think we haven't had that support, like, visibility, so it could even be supported in the past. And so we just appreciate the time, and we're happy to share anything. If you have any other questions, like, we will open our books. We have really built great relationships between the businesses down there, where I think 10 years ago, you'd say it was fairly competitive, or 5 years ago even. And we've worked really hard to start sharing real information and really helping each other try to be as fiscally smart as possible, and all of those aspects where you do better if you have, more friendly relationships
Very
like that.
tight-knit waterfront community. We
And
are
truly building
blessed.
it versus
Blessed.
truly looking at each other as competitors. And it has really helped, I think, a lot, but it, like these like kind of sweeping changes where we're just kind of lumped in really impact us so much bigger.
Yeah, because even like our increase of 170%, even put 170% increase to Calypso or Star, that's gonna hurt them. And that's a bigger, and they make more revenue than us, but a
Yeah.
170% increase in their bills each month. That'll hurt even those businesses. And just imagine us, it's gonna be crushing. There's already guys trying to figure out how to get out.
Out altogether.
Yeah.
They can't afford it
I mean, when you can't even afford to,
to operate.
the Marina Tenant Council dues a month, you know what I mean? Like, it's just small margins, they're just so small margins.
And one of the guys been fishing down here 30 years, 40 years, he's had a boat in the marina, and he has no clue.
How old is he?
How old is it?
Yeah.
6.
Well, that's where I was going. You got guys aging out like myself. You got guys that, you know, and then it's like, well, okay, the storm, okay, now the rent's going up, you know what? I'm out.
But he also has in line a captain that he's trained to take,
Yeah.
like, sit back and, but now he doesn't even
Doesn't have to
it's
do the
that
driving.
He can't sit back and hang out and
Yeah.
let someone, you have to be an owner operator.
Yep,
You have
and-
no choice.
Hopefully
but to be
that guy
an owner-operator.
will bring that business along where he can end up buying the boat from, and it's tough.
It's hard.
Yeah.
We
So-
definitely hear you, and I think we're all, you know, Mike's, you got a good guy right there to be in charge of stuff, so.
He's all right.
Yes.
He's one of them.
Let's not, like, you guys are gonna make our lives a little harder here. We're a little,
He's
I
one
need
of
this
us.
mic to do some dancing with, no.
Well, please keep us updated on the progress.
Yeah, well, we're happy to share anything that you all ever need, so,
Okay.
and we appreciate the time that you take to think about it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We need to hear from someone on the beach marina reconstruction project. You're okay.
Good morning, members of the council today. My name is Kelly Petrich. I'm the Engineering Division Manager for the Public Works Department. Just kind of give you a brief update in the beach marina. So currently, right now, with the marine work we have going on, we have Orion Construction has finished all the pile and floating docks installation this week. The crane work has been completed. They are loading the material barge, and we'll be sending the crane to the Tampa yard to the maintenance between the phases. And they're currently detailing continues on the fixed and floating docks. This consists of timber bracing, cleats, caps, and dock boxes. I don't know if everyone's aware, but we currently have found an obstruction. It's out here on the final pier here, the C dock.
Oh,
This obstruction is actually below the mud line that where we were trying to put in the last piling, the last pier. It's about 25 by 50 feet. We're not sure if it's a Winnebago or what exactly. We actually had a sonar crew that was out Tuesday, but they were unable to get a clear reading of the obstruction just because they said it was too far below the mud line, so we're looking at other options to find out what's there. One of the other options at Orion Construction is they're planning on trying to do basically a large punch through the obstruction with a very large hammer that they're looking at bringing out. But I know Mike would, and the crew would definitely like to find out, you know, the exact location of this obstruction. Like I said, it's about 25 by 50 feet, and to kind of get a better idea. So we're gonna
And it's
look at some other
metallic? They
options.
determined it's metallic?
But we just know it's, you know, maybe concrete, we're not sure
Could be a
exactly.
rock.
It's very, you know,
Okay.
we can't get through, definitely, so we're not sure exactly what it is yet. So we're hoping to get some other ways to test it, but it's definitely below the mud line, and we're pretty sure we're able to punch through, but, you know, we definitely would like to figure out what's down there for future use for the marina and be able to put pilings and things like that.
Is there anything historical about it? I mean, that something occurred way back when? and that's
The only
a
thing
remnant?
that we can maybe think of is maybe during the construction of the beach marina building or the original pier, maybe it was concrete or something during the construction, and maybe they dumped it off there. We're not really sure what it could be.
Have you asked anything of any of the old timers that might have knowledge of that, that've been around?
I have.
then?
I have, and they don't know.
No.
One of the suggestions I got, it could be something from the military back in the 40s or 30s or something.
Well, I was going to
so.
say, based on the size of it, it could be, because there was a big Marine Corps training base for the Amtraks. It- That'd be cool to find one of those.
Yeah.
I'm curious, who did you ask?
I talked to Bill Morris, and
Okay.
I also talked to, some of the old-time captains down there.
Okay. Did you talk to Bob Ress by chance?
I did not.
Okay. You mind if I ask him? He might know. Okay,
Feel free.
okay.
Yeah, so
This is holding up just one piling?
Yeah, it won't affect the transition of the phase over. It's something we'll definitely have to deal with, but it's not going to affect the switch over from phase 1 to phase 2
Okay.
on that. So worst case scenario, we'll just take care of it in the phase 2 portion of the construction. But yeah, Orion should have something to at least punch through to get that final clearance soon. As far as the electrical work for the project, the main power inspection has passed. So Duke Energy will be powering the switchgear in about 3 to 5 days. Buell Electric Construction is working to energize docks D, E, and the site lights soon after. So we will have lighting out there shortly. C has the longest feeder runs and will follow after. And on all site rough-ins are complete at this point. As far as the upland work right now, the concrete crews are working to make pours every day until it's complete. We do expect them to wrap up before Christmas, and all the site furniture will be scheduled to deliver the week of Christmas, and the install will actually start immediately. We also have the gangway access platforms are not complete, but also expected before Christmas. But we're also working with our design team on some of the ADA parking stall elevations. They're currently not in compliance, so we're still working on getting those up to ADA compliance. We also will shortly you'll be seeing delivery of the temporary kiosk. Will shortly be. They're all completed, so now they're going to start be coming in on site and being placed out there. So we're barring any issues right now. We're looking to turn over the whole project for phase 1 and switch over all the boats to be able to ready by the first week in January. So that's kind of the timeline we're working at this point. And as far as we know right now, we're still good for the phase 2 completions, and we're going to work, of course, engineering and Orion Construction and Kokalakis are all going to work on making sure we get that schedule tightened up to finish on time for the project.
Excellent.
Anybody have any
Good.
questions?
No, I told the group earlier, I said some friends on Thanksgiving took the Sea Screamer out and were able to get in and out. They said, didn't have any problem parking, any problem finding the boat or getting out. Italian people said they were not even familiar with the area, so that was something I concerned of. You pull in there stranger, you'd been there 10 years ago and nothing's where it was before, at least for now. And just a good report on it.
Yeah, and I've been out there. It's an amazing facility. The docks are really sturdy. It's really impressive being aluminum docks, and we got it's an unbelievable product. I've been really happy with the finish and everything, and it's going to be. I think everyone's really going to love it when we get it opened up, at least for the
Yeah.
phase 1 portion.
State of the art.
Yeah, it looks like it's really going to be, very physically attractive, beautiful
Yeah.
layouts, and like wide boardwalk areas and so on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's going to be definitely a huge improvement. I think it's really going to attract a lot more
Yeah.
people out to the area.
Absolutely.
For the marina, and then, of course, with phase 2, some of the major things we have is that the floating fuel building will be installed. So that's going to be exciting to see that get constructed, and we'll finish off the rest of the increase of the seawall, and the rest of the slips and everything will be done for phase 2. So.
Okay,
Excellent.
good.
Do you have a guesstimate of when fuel will be available?
That'd be more Mike.
I'll get into that in the director's
Okay.
report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harbor Marina repairs, is this, okay, he
Also-
stays there.
Right.
Roll right into it.
Okay, as you know, this project has been divided into basically 2 separate projects, which would be the south end, which has already been designed, and also the north end. As far as the update for the south end, that is out for bid. Actually, you'll see it on OpenGov today for December 10th for our bidders to be able to bid that. So we're actually looking at a tentative, hopefully get on the council date then for March 2nd. So we'll be able to award the final bidder on March 2nd, get them on board, get them an NTP. We're imagining, we really want to push them and get that done before the next storm season. We're kind of looking maybe between, 3 to 6 months for the construction, so we're hoping to get all this construction, the south end, done by the next storm season to brace for that. As far as the north end, so the update on that is we're looking at the 90% design drawings to be completed before the end of January 23rd or so. And then our designer told us it'll be about 1 more month we're looking at to get the actual 100% constructed drawings. And then, so we'll be able to start the bidding process then shortly after. We're looking in March. And that's usually about a 90-day process to go to council and get a bidder on board, which would put us in kind of the June timeframe. And then, again, that'll be 6 months. We're seeing a similar timeframe for the construction for the north side. So we're hoping by the end of the year, we'll have the north side done of next year. So that's kind of the timeframe for both sections of Harbor Marina. Anybody have any additional questions?
Kelly, when did you say the NTP for the south end would?
Oh, the south side? Let me look at my schedule again. We're trying to get, right now, based on the bidder schedule and everything and our review time, what procurement has told us is that we'll get time to review everything, look over the estimates, and if we get a good bidder, then we'll go ahead and select them, and we're looking to get on the March 2nd council date. And that includes a 30-day time frame after the bidder's award. We have to, for any kind of, if there be any kind of grievances by other bidders or anything. So that's part of that process. But yeah, we're looking at the March 2nd council date. And then March 5th, it'll be approved, and then we get them a purchase order. So you're looking middle of March, probably get them a NTP.
So March for the NTP on that, all right.
Yeah, so we're excited to see which bidders are out there. There's some really good firms that we hope we'll be able to get.
All right.
It is a low bid process, but it's based on qualifications, so we'll get a good contractor out there.
Are you also our person for the Seminole Boat Ramp repair?
Yes.
Okay. Keep you busy.
Yeah, a lot going on. So we just poured the last slabs there recently for the phase 2 part, so that should be open up in the next week or two.
Oh.
And so we're pretty much done with both sections now for that. And then there is, of course, the second phase that we're going to be doing, which is more into the water end, because this is just repairing the ramps, of course, just the concrete there, and then the gator docks for this portion of it. So that'll be complete, and then we'll have to go back out for bid and get a bidder on for the rest of the water side of it. So.
No, I didn't realize it was going along that quickly.
Yeah, and it's a really good end product too. I think all the boaters will be really happy with the new ramp and everything up there.
When they do the submerged portion, they'll have to dam off the entire ramp area, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it'll be a similar shutdown, but it'll be phased, so we will have 2 ramps open at all times.
Really? How, because, I mean, they'll have to put sheet piles out there and keep the water out and pump it out, right? And how
Well,
they-
yeah, we'll close that out separately. So we'll shut 2 ramps down, do all the construction for that end.
Right.
And then we'll get that opened up and then do it very similar to how we're doing the upland work.
Good. Cool. Great. And I've run out of items for you.
All right, well, thank you, appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Kelly.
Mr. Director,
Yes, sir.
do you have something to tell us?
Yeah, so I wanted to go over the performa because it kind of ties into what the tenant group was speaking on today. And so we've completed the full financial performance for the Marine and Aviation Department Enterprise Fund to ensure long-term sustainability, especially with the $46 million beach marina reconstruction. The analysts looked at all revenue streams, operating expenses, debt services, and our future capital requirements across the beach and harbor marina. The performer confirmed with the updated market-supported slip rates based on the Walter Duke appraisal, the enterprise fund remains structurally balanced over the long term. It supports ongoing operations, future maintenance, hurricane resiliency, and the debt service tied to the beach marina project. It also demonstrates that the enterprise fund can maintain appropriate reserves, absorb project cost increases, and continue delivering services without drawing on the city's general fund. In short, the pro forma validated the updated rate structure is responsible, sustainable, and necessary to ensure the marine and aviation system remains financially strong for years to come. I plan on presenting this performance to you guys at our next meeting, which is gonna be March 18th now, due to the voting that's gonna take place. We're pushing our next meeting back a week.
Oh,
So
okay.
you'll get information on that, which is gonna be March 18th.
So the third Wednesday.
Yeah. And as you guys know, that, you know, we're still talking about the rate increases. Council only approved the initial rate increase, and they didn't approve, they wanted more discussion, and they wanted to see it perform and everything. And also working with the six-pack vessels, we'll be able to bring that back to you guys and have further discussions on that.
Okay.
What we're gonna do. And do you have any questions over the reform or anything?
Over that, no,
Okay.
no. Good to,
So the performance says the rate study is exactly where we need to be to stay sustainable as an enterprise fund and not take money from the general fund or the taxpayers. The next thing that I want to talk about is the kiosk. As you all know, the kiosks are coming in, and those are going to be leased to our tenants. And Aaron has some information on that.
Good morning. Aaron Braley, Division Controller for Marine and Aviation, do all the accounting. So kind of what we're looking at as far as pricing out these kiosks for our tenants are, it's kind of a split rate structure. So for the first 7 years, the first 84 months, it would be $350 a month. That kind of recoups the costs of each individual kiosk that's being rented. And then for, you know, the remaining useful life of that kiosk, it would be $100 a month for the tenants. And that would help to, you know, for maintenance and upkeep on our side.
what kind of life do they have, do you think?
What they told us was about 20 years,
Okay.
but they're also only warranty for 1 year, so that's why the lease is kind of front-loaded to make sure that we can recoup our costs, you know. Being an enterprise fund, we have to be able to
Yes, okay.
be viable. So, looking for any feedback or advice that you guys might have, but it's kind
It'll
of
be
where we're
interesting to go down there and see them. They've already started arriving?
They haven't started arriving yet, no.
Soon,
So,
though.
soon, though, yeah, they're
You
completed.
said by Christmas, I think you said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
How many are rented?
there's gonna be 24 kiosks,
It's gonna be 24, but are they all rented?
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They were, actually, it was kind of desired that we had even more of them. There were more tenants that wanted.
Is this a change to the cost structure for commercial guys, or is this what they were paying somehow before?
Before, they had their own kiosks that were out on the dock,
Right.
which is not permitted by code anymore.
That's okay, yeah.
So, the original design plan called for structures there, and that's not allowable through the
So it is a new
FEMA.
cost for them.
So we had to go to a kiosk, something that's removable.
They'll all be, they're basically the same, aren't they?
Yes, they're the exact same.
You know, some of the stuff that was down there was kind of like a
Yeah, pieced together.
Right,
beach
right,
umbrella
right,
with
right.
Yeah.
an extension cord.
The only thing that's different is the door placement, because we had, the way they're pouring the cement, it's gonna be ADA compliant. So some of the doors are on the side, some of them are in the back, some of them are right side, some of them are left side, so.
And comparing what the majority of our tenants have currently, they're kind of kiosks set
Improvement.
up. I mean, before the marina construction started, most of them were little open-air structures that they
Yeah.
weren't being
Grass
built
hut.
for. Exactly, and there were only a few of them that had, you know, legitimate quote-unquote dock offices that they were charged for. And this is a different rate structure.
So the fact that they're removable, I've always thought was really
Yeah.
bright, whoever came up with that idea a couple of years ago, but in any event, so when a storm approaches, what's it gonna take you to get all 24 of them out of there? 2 days, 5 days, 2 weeks? What?
It shouldn't take that long. They're designed to break away pretty easy, and you're able to lift them up with a forklift. So really, it's just getting them on a flatbed and.
Right,
taking-
24 of them.
Mhm.
Sounds like a
So
bunch.
it probably a
They'd
day,
go-
day
they'd
and a
go to
half.
the-
Day or two? Oh,
They
okay.
go to the
Super.
airport.
Is that where they're going? Yeah. That's really
like
smart.
the cover
I
space,
love it.
well, you couldn't be covered spaces because there'd be planes there, but,
Well, I haven't spoken with the, Fly USA on it yet, but usually those airplanes leave. In the past, we put some of our stuff in the hangars because the aircraft leave, so we can,
yeah, they make a run. That's true, they can run for it.
yeah, so we'll find some
Those
storage there.
kiosks will have to be rated anyway, won't they?
They are rated,
Yeah.
and
So
they're
they could-
permitted by the
Yeah, they
state.
could sit at the airport.
Yep.
Just reduces the chances of flooding and true damage if they're not actually.
Have you figured out some rules as to when you'll move them or not? I mean, do you leave them there for a Cat 1 or 2, but not a 3, 4, 5?
Yeah,
Or
no, so to get the variance from the flood board, anytime there's a named storm in the area, we have to remove them.
any name store?
Yep.
Okay, all right, super, interesting.
I think you're
Okay.
gonna get good at it.
God, let's hope not.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Great questions.
You guys want to talk about moving phase 1 to phase 2 at the beach marina?
No, I think we're pretty, are we clear on that, or what they're going from 1 to 2, or what it's gonna take?
Kelly said first
Okay.
week of January.
You're talking about
Right?
shifting,
Yeah.
this is gonna be
Yeah.
shifting all the boats and
Yep, just
doing all that?
moving everything over. And then there's a question about the fuel earlier, and I said I'd talk about that in my director's report. Basically, what we're doing is the same system that we have now on the south side, we're moving it to the north side. The issue that we have right now, on the east side, is the pumps that we purchased were not certified by the state, so the state said, can't pump fuel. So when they do the move, they're gonna take those and put some state-certified pumps on there, so we'll be back to pumping fuel.
Okay.
And when was that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'll work with the tenant group. It sounds like they'll be ready for the shift over the first week of January.
Okay.
So we'll
Okay.
give them a good time
That's
frame for
close
them to
enough,
move.
first of the year.
Yeah.
A question I had for you, if we're moving on. The question of membership here on the board and how close we are to struggling to have a quorum. I think we just made it today, I think, with 4. We know that the doctor, always afraid to say his last name and slaughter it.
I think he resigned. I'm gonna have to go back and double check on that.
Someone gave him my contact information, he called me, and we didn't talk any business or anything, he just felt that, having just relocated, even though he was a boater, relocating from San Diego to here, he knew nothing what we were talking about, and he felt not left out, but not contributing, and I told him, a lot of us were like that when we first came aboard, but I think he did resign then. Is that true?
I think so. I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
Mike, I know that, I'm sorry, go ahead, I thought you were.
Well, just that a lot of our board members have been recruited by other board members, and if you know people that can help us.
Well, that's what I was just gonna mention. I know when I applied for this, Trish McDonald also had applied for, Trish Rodriguez, I'm looking at
Yeah.
you. We might approach Trish and see if she is still interested, because she did throw her hat in the ring at the same time I did. And of course, I think she would be a good fit and a good representative.
Well, I think so we have at least one spot open.
I think so. I'll have to go back and double check. But
Okay.
I'll work with the clerk's office.
Okay. And yeah, on the board, if that proves true, anybody you know that might be
Yeah.
interested, because
Trish
it's,
is, they have the ferry and Tropics.
Right.
Is that right?
so 9 years, we've had one meeting where we sat here and then went home because, and why we started asking for RSVPs. It used to be just assumed everybody would be here until we had that one time that we all got here and had to go do,
What's the
Go
total
get some breakfast.
membership availability? In other words, how many?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I was thinking it was 6 or 7.
6, yeah, I think there's 7.
yeah, there should be 7 members, so.
If there is a hole, could you approach Trish? How would we do that?
I'll work with the clerk's office. She might already have applications on file.
Okay, I
Just have
think
to
she
look.
did. I don't know
Yeah.
if they.
Okay.
So,
if you know anything about, I said about the Sea Screamer, do you know anything about this woman that recently drowned on Shell Island? There was a report of a body found in Shell Island, and there was, see, I'm thinking ours, all the way down to Shell Island.
Yeah.
There was like a news report, and then a week went by and no one said anything else about it.
Yeah.
I thought you might know something. I asked the members, interesting tidbit, and I wish I had brought his card. In doing, now and then I just get this urge to go walking docks, and I'd never really been on the docks on the Clearwater Yacht Club. And we know that there's a long going, if why we push the Stevenson Creek people on the manatee thing, because if we could put a no wake zone somewhere in Clearwater, it would more likely be adjustment to the one behind Island Estates with those wake boats, but also that whole back area where the Clearwater Yacht Club is. And somebody insinuated to me that they were looking to put in a fuel dock and that they would really need it. And I talked to the, what they call him, the Admiral or whatever of the Yacht Club.
Commodore.
The Commodore, thank you. And he knew nothing about them putting in a fuel dock or anything like that. So it kind of lowers the priority, I thought, of saying, well, first, yes, we should adjust the wake zone in there, and we should talk about that sometime in the future. And I believe one of our members is on the board, like Mr. Stevenson Creek here, is on the board because his boat's continually battered by these wakeboards. But I was always surprised that that back channel where the Clearwater Yacht Club is open running, and it's something we would address, but it kind of drops in priority to me if they're not actually putting in a fuel drop. I don't know where that rumor came from, but he said there's nothing like that going on. So I just thought I'd mention that. And you know anything about that boat fire in Madeira? There's no follow-up news on that either. I figured you were tapped in all the way up and down the channel. So I'll just keep searching for those because that looked a little iffy. Yeah. and if you're gonna, don't burn your boat. If you're gonna, my good friend, and you, Mark Benedict, he was a resident at the airport for years. He's the one that landed his commander on Keene instead of at the airport because his fuel shut down. And then his replacement commander, right after inspection, dropped a shear pin in his front landing wheel and he stuck it in the ground there. And even though he's an adjuster for Geico Insurance, or was at the time, he's retired now, they said, you're going to go somewhere else to get your insurance. So he got rid of his planes and salvaged them out. But they, I'm sorry, kind of lost my track there. Where was I going?
About the plane. Oh, it was a plane. Shear pin.
About your friend.
No more
Well, the
charge.
shear pin, yes,
Yeah.
but there was a moral to that story of why
We'll play
I brought up Mark Benedict. I'm sorry?
Don't burn your boat.
Oh, don't burn your boat. Oh, convinced me never to think about any kind of fraud with insurance companies. He says, he says, we walk in and we almost instantly know exactly what happened. Proving it might be a different matter, but arson, fire fraud, anything like that, fake car accidents, anything like that is not something that you're going to get away with, especially if you decide to do it on a windy day. and we're assuming maybe that was what happened. I don't want to imply any guilt to anybody. I don't know whose boat it was. I just know that Mike's connected to everybody. He might have some info on it.
All I'll say is ignorance is bliss.
That's
I
right.
always store my fuel in my living room.
Yes. No one ever told me that was dangerous.
For the record, I'm not on I have nothing to do with the SCAG group, other than the fact that I live within their communication area
Yeah.
and think the docks are silly, but that's just me. And I don't think with the difficulty of putting in a fuel station and the EPA regulations and anywhere near the water and the expense of it,
Right.
I can't see the Clearwater Yacht Club or Carlowell or anybody else
Well,
That's just a
No.
lot of
we're
money.
run,
The
we're run,
expense is gonna be amazing.
we're running long, but I got a phone call. I had three 1,000-gallon gasoline tanks and a $2,000 diesel tank right on Presque Isle or Erie Harbor in Erie, Pennsylvania. And my boss called me at 5 o'clock in the morning and said, get your ass down here. And the front of our docks was just lined with gasoline residue. And there was a bit of a nor'easter blowing in, which blew it into our corner and was just overpowering. And of course, I had to show the fire marshals there. I had to stick all my tanks and show them that the readings still matched the readings that I had done every morning, every night. I had to stick those tanks. But here, the marina at the end of the pier was converting over to a restaurant, and they had a 4,000-gallon fuel tank, gas tank. And to get rid of the fuel in there so they could remove the tank is really expensive. So they thought and 3/4 of it was water. So they thought if we just put a pump down the the water's always at the bottom. Let's suck the water off the bottom. So they borrow from a city worker this like 3,000-gallon per minute pump, or exaggeration, but this heavy-duty pump, which just sucked everything out of the tank and threw it into the bay, and it blew into our corner. The kid went to jail. I mean, like for 8 years. Could no longer be the guy that owned forever. Could it be on the liquor license? They had to give it to his sister. And so moral of the story is fraud doesn't work. Don't do it.
There are still so many underground tanks in this county from where gas stations used to be
Yeah.
that nobody even knows. And
Any other board members have something to throw in there instead of our reckless stories? I believe that this meeting should be called to adjourn. Is there a motion
move to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn?
and a second?
Second. Adjourn.
December 10th meeting of the Clearwater Marine Advisory Board is adjourned.